All right, we're going to go for a walk around this engine. I'm going to show you how turnkey this one is before I drop it in. I mean, it's basically fully dressed. You can't put the downpipe on it, can't put the crossover on it. I've got all my plugs in there. I've got my transducer from oil pressure logging. Got my negative battery cable. These guys will not be used. One goes to the wastegate solenoid, the other goes to the oil pressure idiot light. This could be used if you wanted to use one of the inputs of the computer for something else. Down here we have the crank sensor, and then the wire snakes up in there. You also see the positive battery cable is running to the back of the alternator, all routed carefully. Still have to put a hot wire kit up there. Up front we have the IAC plug, the TPS, the idiot light for the coolant down there, the cam sensor plug, coolant temperature sensor plug. Hidden, which you'll never see, is the plug for the idiot light here. We don't use that. I put a mechanical temp gauge in there, transducer for fuel pressure, logging correction, all that good stuff. I use the oil pressure transducer. It's buried, you can't see it, but I use the old O2 sensor wire, a couple flicks of a keystroke in the software, and I can make that oil pressure logging. Over here we got the plugs, the wires. Almost all the vacuum lines are done. I have to run this. I've got an extender coming. I got to do my RJC PCV in there. This guy here runs down to the starter. I'm going to do it without the starter in there because of the extra space. It might help it when I slide the downpipe in. Back of the engine we have the grounds have been relocated from here and there to here, easily accessible. This harness also has a clip on it, so it's not going to move around. Knock sensor. This used to be our EGR plug. Now I'm using the ignition and the brown wire for fuel logging, and the ignition into the computer with a few jumpers that I change. You can also see the brake booster has been moved over here. This is a D599A coil off the Silverado. There is the little jump strip there, which is secure. It's not going to go anywhere. It's been zip tied. You can see I've started some vacuum lines there. More vacuum lines, which are all silicone. Transducer for fuel pressure logging. Alternator, hot wire, alternator charging wire. We have air conditioner switch, another air conditioner switch, and air conditioner plug. Not used yet. This one is my IAT. It's going to tuck back up in there and run around the back of the engine, hopefully. Purge, which won't be used. MAF, which won't be used. And fan, which will be used. Fuel lines are down there. We have power steering hoses. We have the relays. The Power Master hookups, which won't be used on this one either. And the TCC plug, the torque converter lockup. It will drop in like this. None of this will have to be removed. Everything is secure, about as secure as it's going to get. It's a lot easier to do it now on the stand. It helps the guys back out, makes it easier. So now let's look down the rest of the harness. This guy goes in the firewall. The blue connectors go to the ECU. The white one goes to the dash harness. These are my auxiliaries, my IOs. And there's your Y band. On the other side of the harness, coming up under the fender AC box, is the orange wire for the ECU, AC and fuel pump relays, knock module if you use it, map sensor if you use it, and the breakout connector, which is the feature that this harness has over a factory reproduction harness. So let's look at the literature. Casper's has included this. This is the first one that I've seen. And it tells you where everything goes. You have 4 auxiliaries, a ground for 5-volt sensors, a power supply for 5 volts, a high current 3 output, analog in 3, Spark C, and a user PWM, all configurable for driving boost controllers, alka pumps, fans, you name it. And this is the normal thing that gets put in the Casper's harness. Is just tells you where everything goes, in case I went too fast. And then it lists a whole bunch of things I'm not going to read, features that make it why it's better than the OEM stuff. So this guy is fully dressed and ready to dance and ready to drop in.